Hi guys, good evening, and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host, Eddie, and in tonight's video, I thought I would bring you another hypothetical versus scenario in my new growing series that I call Who Would Win, where I ask you, who would win in a hypothetical fight scenario between two characters who either exist within the same franchise or universe, or have no chance in hell of ever crossing paths ever. But it'd be fun to think about who would win in a fight and why. And in today's video, I want to ask you, in light of it being the best time of year and how both characters have returning franchises both to the small and big screen very soon, I thought I'd ask you guys who would win in a fight between Ghostface versus the Fisherman from I Know What You Did Last Summer. So one of the reasons why I asked about these two characters in particular is that they're two of my favorite horror slashers. And one of them, Ghostface, is from my all-time favorite horror movie, Scream. And they're both from very popular 90s horror films. You know, Scream's, I think, in my opinion, a lot more popular and well-known. But I Know What You Did Last Summer has a pretty big following as well, because I'm a fan as well. But I thought because they were both horror icons of the 90s, and specifically the teen slasher genre, I thought, what would happen if they were both chasing the same victim and they happened to cross paths? So since they're both just human beings in costumes, you know, there's no supernatural powers here or nothing to be like that to be taken into consideration. I think because Ghostface is usually a young adult, a disturbed, murderous young adult, in a Ghostface costume, I think Ghostface would have an advantage over the Fisherman, who's a bit more seasoned, a bit more older, because he was always played, with the exception of that god-awful film, I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, he was always played by Muse Watson, a great seasoned actor, who's done a couple other movies, but I think a majority of us would recognize him as Ben Willis, aka the Fisherman from I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Now, he had some very graphic, very cool, memorable kills in the two films that I just mentioned. And, you know, he went up toe-to-toe with a few of the characters like Ray and Julie. But between him and Ghostface and Ben Willis in his Fisherman attire outfit, I would say Ghostface, because Ghostface is quite maneuverable, good reflexes, he moves and ducks and goes from side to side, where the Fisherman kind of just has the hook for a hand, and all he can really do is just do swiping really fast, like left to right and whatnot. And we don't see him being as maneuverable or flexible. But however, you know, maybe it's because, you know, he was doing it for a bit longer than Ghostface was, or was he? Did they have the same amount of time to prepare for their murders? I think they did. So really, it's a pretty even match if you think about it. And I am not saying this because Ghostface is my favorite or Scream is my favorite, but I'm saying this because, you know, Ghostface is usually a younger adult, you know, and I'm not trying to be ageist and downplay Muse Watson or Ben Willis's age or whatnot, but Ghostface, as we've seen him when he goes up against people, when he's attacking or killing anybody, and if any of them put up a fight, he can usually hold his own and fight back pretty damn easily. He's usually pretty strong, because it's usually a pretty decently in shape young adult who's murderous and disturbed. So I would say Ghostface would win in this scenario, most likely. Will we ever see this fight happen in real life someday? Seems highly unlikely, although not entirely impossible, since Kevin Williamson wrote both films, or at least the two first films in their respective franchises. But again, seems unlikely. You know, there's that whole messy legal issue and whatnot, who's got the rights and whatnot. However, you could still enjoy and see these characters very soon in their respective franchises. Now, Muse Watson will not be in the new I Know What You Did Last Summer TV series dropping on Amazon later this month. At least I don't think he will be. But unfortunately, from the trailer, it looks like the murderer, whoever it is, will not be wearing the classic Fisherman costume, They'll just be wearing a black hoodie or something like that. Now, could the Fisherman costume come along later in the season or the show? I certainly hope so. But don't get your hopes up thinking you're going to see the Fisherman specifically. We're going to see somebody killing a whole lot of other people, but they might be dressed differently. They may not be wearing the Fisherman attire. But you'll still be able to enjoy the whole theme and storyline of teenagers celebrating high school graduation, get into a car accident, accidentally hit, possibly kill somebody, don't tell anybody. A year later, somebody begins stalking them, threatening them by saying, "I know what you did last summer." So you'll be able to see that show dropping on Amazon Prime later this month, October 15th, the first 4 episodes of season 1 dropping that date. Next, moving on to Ghostface, we will be able to see him very soon. In fact, in just a couple months, the 5th and new Scream movie, which is simply titled Scream, will be dropping in theaters January 14th in 2022. And rumor is we should be getting our first look at the film, meaning a teaser or a teaser trailer for Scream 2022, some point in the near future. I suspect it might be attached to screenings for Halloween Kills, since it's also about a murderous psycho in a white mask. So it's entirely possible we might be getting a trailer for Scream 2022 very soon. And Ghostface will definitely be returning in that film, as we've seen some behind-the-scenes photos of the classic return of the mask and costume. Obviously, we have no idea who Ghostface is in this case, but at least the costume and character persona is coming back, and that is pretty damned exciting. So looking forward to that, as I hope you guys are too. So who do you guys see winning in this fight that I just mentioned? Do you prefer one or the other? Or do you think one would win over the other because of advantages and whatnot? Let me know what you think down below in the comments section. Have an awesome rest of your night. Thanks again so much for watching and stopping by on the EdWord for another Who Would Win video. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks for watching. And of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.